This is Larry Bonaroto from LarryOnLearning.com, and this is your Morning Minute. Reading, listening, watching, and doing. How do you learn? As infants, we began learning by watching. We watched how our parents reacted when we cried, when we were hungry, and when we soiled our diapers. We had no understanding of language, so we learned by watching the actions of those who cared for us to determine how we would react. Becoming toddlers, we still learn more by watching. However, as we began to understand words, we started listening while watching. With words and small phrases, we learned to communicate. We learned how to use the potty, how to feed ourselves, and how to play. We learned by doing. In school, we first learned our alphabet by watching, listening, and repeating, by doing. As we learned to read, a whole new world of information became available to us. So we watched, we listened, and we read. Then we did the exercises so that while we learned, we could remember. We learned by doing. As older children, we learned to do chores and perform personal hygiene by watching, listening, and practicing. On the playground, we watched and we listened and we learned how to play games. We were practicing, learning from each other, and learning by doing. As teens, we began to learn how to accomplish more complicated functions. We read, we watched, and we listened to videos and recordings. Competing in activities and completing projects, we gathered information, we collaborated with others, and we learned by doing. Now, as adults, we have our own learning preferences. We listen to lectures and podcasts. We go online to watch videos. We attend classes to watch, listen, and learn. Or we have someone demonstrate how to perform a certain task. Then we begin practicing what we learn to get good at. We learn by doing. Think about a habit you have. How did you develop that habit? Did you get better at it the more you did it? Of course. That's why it became a habit. A habit learned by doing. Professionals like doctors and lawyers call their businesses practices. To stay proficient in their calling, they must continually learn and adapt. They must practice constantly by doing. You won't get better at doing something unless you practice doing it correctly. In other words, practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And remember, education without action is just entertainment. Reading, listening, watching, and doing. And that is today's Morning Minute.